let's get into the news, though. So we have three news stories that are pretty interesting. One that's kind of a follow-up to last week's story about the Marvel Square Enix partnership. This comes by way of Jason Schreier over at Kotaku. Sources: Eidos working on Guardians of the Galaxy game, future of Deus Ex murky. We may be waiting a long time for the next big Deus Ex game. The developers of the iconic franchise have moved on to other big franchises, according to sources speaking both to Kotaku and other outlets. Sources say Eidos Montreal has canceled the planned sequel to Deus Ex Mankind Divided, which came out last year. Eidos Montreal,
ouch.
Yeah, that's one thing that a lot of people didn't know is that they actually canceled. They said that they canceled the sequel to that. Eidos Montreal, Square Enix owned Canadian studio, best known for developing Deus Ex Human Revolution and the recently released Mankind Divided, is now working on two major games. One of those games is Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which we knew was leaked via a laptop on a train station a few months ago after the leak. The other game, sources say, is a game based on Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, which is this is just me interjecting, which is interesting because we already have the Telltale game, but obviously two different types of games. It'll be the second entry in Square Enix's new partnership with Marvel, which the two companies announced last Thursday. Eidos Montreal is also working on the Avengers, helping out Crystal Dynamics. On Friday, this is a follow-up to the story, publisher Square Enix sent me the following statement. While we are still working on expanding the Deus Ex universe, along with creating new content and updates for Deus Ex Mankind Divided, we're also devoting our talents towards working with Crystal Dynamics and Marvel on the Avengers project. So if you're a huge fan of Deus Ex, this sucks. We were kind of talking about this on our own, Jordan, and the big thing is Deus Ex didn't sell well. Square Enix isn't just going to have their developer consistently make games that aren't going to sell well, no matter how beloved they are by a group of fans. And I think they need like a seller out of Eidos Montreal. And I think it's interesting because like Shadow of the Tomb Raider, whether or not that's exclusive or not remains to be seen. We don't know. But Shadow of the Tomb Raider will be a seller for them. It won't sell crazy numbers, but it'll probably sell better than Deus Ex. And now they're going to have Guardians of the Galaxy game, which will sell tremendous numbers as well. So hopefully after these two projects are out, maybe they can eventually go back to Deus Ex. It sucks, but I'm excited for the positive end of this, of them working on a Guardians of the Galaxy game, because Dom and I talked about this as you weren't here, Jordan. We were talking about how whether you liked or disliked Mankind Divided, those games look pretty and they're detail oriented and the world they build is really cool. So I'm really interested to see them get their hands on Guardians of the Galaxy. So what do you think?
Oh, yeah.
Are you sad for Deus Ex? Obviously,
dude, I'm fucked up on this Deus Ex news right now. That sucks. There's not enough cyberpunk stuff going on, and Deus Ex was one of those bright beacons. And of course, we're passing another lighthouse here in the coming years with Cyberpunk 2077, which of course will shine bright amongst the darkness. However,
that was good.
I'm worried that seriously, there's very little cyberpunk stuff in any media at all. And so to see a major media version of a really cool cyberpunk world be canceled is really sucky for cyberpunk fans, which I am. And also a really cool sci-fi game, which honestly there's not a lot of great just plain sci-fi games, which cyberpunk is a subgenre of. And so that sucks. And also I just think Deus Ex is cool. It's a cool franchise, and it does suck to see it kind of just get crapped on. That sucks, but I don't know, dude. I'm not even sure that I'm super excited about this Guardians game, because we're already getting the Telltale one, and I feel like, I don't know. I mean, they could probably do an X-Men game, right?
Yeah,
no matter what the movie rights are.
Yeah, exactly. But the problem is that Marvel's kind of hinted at the fact that they want their games to resemble the MCU, just because profit drives profit. So
I would rather them, if we were gonna have two action, probably third-person games coming out of this Square Enix Marvel deal, I would really like to have Avengers and X-Men, but Guardians will be cool,
Also, Telltale's Guardians will probably hit this year, maybe at the worst late this year. Whereas if they're currently working on Shadow of Tomb Raider, I think Guardians is probably in pre-production, and Shadow of Tomb Raider could possibly come out this year because they've been hitting the every 2 years mark with Tomb Raider. So I think Avengers Project is definitely within the next 2 years. I could see Guardians being 3, being kind of far out. So
Guardians I bet
now and then kind of it seems fit.
I bet they'll do Guardians in 2019 and have Volume 3 of the movie in 2019 as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. Dom, you haven't watched Guardians of the Galaxy, but are you excited for the guys who made Deus Ex to be working on a game?
Oh man, it's come up before, and I think we got a similar reaction. No, I have no connection to it. I mean, I'm sure it'll be cool. I do want to watch that movie. I mean, I love Chris Pratt. I like sci-fi. There's really no good excuses to why I haven't seen that movie yet.
It's the funniest of the Marvel movies.
You do not deserve the hero's brand. Take off your shirt and take down that poster.
Oh man. And I did end up playing. I can't even remember what the last Deus Ex game was. The
Human
last
Revolution
gen game.
Human Revolution.
I remember trying it for a few hours and I just couldn't do it. Just couldn't get into it. The setting was really cool and everything about it was really cool. I liked the augmentation stuff. Like all that was super sweet. But like the gameplay, I just couldn't get into it. So I'm not quite as heartbroken as Jordan. But Guardians should be cool too. So
we've lost a beacon in the sci-fi cyberpunk universe.
The next bit of news is probably something you're super interested in, Dom. This comes by way of IGN. Seth G. Macy writes, Star Wars Battlefront 2 release window announced, more details revealed. During its third quarter earnings call to investors, EA gave more details about the upcoming Star Wars Battlefront sequel. Basically, EA first officially confirmed the sequel to Star Wars Battlefront back in May. At E3, we learned EA Motive was working on the game. EA has Motive, DICE, and Criterion bringing their areas of expertise. Interesting, during the investor call, the game was not referred to as Star Wars Battlefront 2, but instead was called the next Star Wars Battlefront. So we know that this is coming out. I believe the release window was holiday 2017 that they gave. So somewhere in there, which is not surprising. We kind of expected this for the longest time that it will come out this fall, this winter. Yeah, are you guys? Is it weird that they're not calling it Battlefront 2? Do you think it's going to be Star Wars Battlefront something? Like, do you think that's what they're going to call it?
Well, they still might call it 2. Maybe it's still up in the air. But we just don't know yet. But I think if I had to bet, I think you're right. I think they might have a subtitle on there instead of a numbered sequel. And who knows? Knowing the way the last Battlefront went and knowing this is EA, maybe it's like 3 separate games that are actually the same, but one for each era or something, and each one's $60. I wouldn't be surprised. And they would light the world on fire, and the internet would scream at them, but then the game would still sell 20 million copies, so they keep doing it.
Also, don't you think that they probably don't want to call it a sequel just so it kind of separates itself from the game that was notorious for not having like a single player? Because this one is going to have a single player and stuff. Maybe they want to, brand it as something different. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm more interested because they mentioned that it was going to take place over several different eras, and they didn't get any more specific than that. So and the date that it releases will be before, of course, Episode 8 releases in theaters. So it'll be interesting to see what era this is. Like, I don't even know if they're going into 7 and 8 and 9 eras yet, or if they'll just stick with.
Don't you think?
No, they will. I think it's gonna. They said multiple eras, right?
Yeah. Don't you think that they're gonna take the Battlefield 1 approach though, and it might be vignettes in like different sections? That's what I'm assuming that the single player is going to be. Is it's just going to be vignettes. It's not going to be like a complete front to end. You play as the same character, obviously, because they said that's the whole thing of them saying multiple eras and stuff. I really think it's going to be these little vignettes, So
Star Wars Battlefront.
I'm super excited for
Revenge.
I'm super excited for all of the Star Wars games that are in development outside of Battlefront. The Battlefront games are the ones that I'm least interested in. Like all the other ones that are being made seem way more interesting, even though we haven't seen too much from them. It's just the people that are working on them. Star Wars is cool and everything, but I'm not going to buy a Star Wars shooter just because there's so many other shooters that I like more that are better. You know,
Yeah.
I'm more interested in like the Star Wars RPGs or the action games and stuff like that. So like, Battlefront's cool and everything. I'm gonna be interested to see what the story is, but yeah, Battlefront personally is like my least excited Star Wars game. So I don't know.
I'm gonna hit you with this, Jared. I will definitely be buying Battlefront day one, and I will probably not be buying Red Dead Redemption 2 this fall.
That's crazy. That's insane.
Well, I'll say this: I'm kind of the opposite of you.
Because Red Dead's gonna get delayed. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. John, sorry.
I am the opposite of you, Jared. I'm kind of like, well, shooters or whatever, but I fucking love Star Wars.
Yeah.
So I had to get Battlefront. But I'm also the least excited for that out of all the Star Wars games.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say next too.
I'm going to do the same thing that I did with this Battlefront, which is I'll wait until all the fucking content's out and I can actually play the Death Star and all that bullshit. And then I'll buy it way cheaper and not have to pay $100 to get the actual full game.
Yeah.
Of Star Wars Battlefront, Watto's Revenge.
The biggest news this week also came from that investors call. Bioware bringing out new IP before March 2018, Lucy O'Brien writes on IGN. Bioware is making a brand new game that will be able to play surprisingly soon. This is from Andrew Wilson, the CEO, during their investor call. At the end of the fiscal year, our Bioware studio will be delivering an all-new IP, said Wilson. A clean sheet designed with new concepts, new gameplay mechanics, and new stories set in a unique universe. This game has the potential to fundamentally disrupt the way people think about an action title. Bringing friends together to play in exhilarating new ways, we're very excited about the future of the franchise and its ability to attract a large global audience. Basically, he goes on to say, as we're working hard to finish Mass Effect Andromeda, I wanted to take a minute to talk about our new IP. Let's see here. As our new CEO has mentioned, and this is, by the way, this is from Aaron Flynn, the general manager of Bioware. As our new CEO has mentioned, we're creating a unique IP that will bring players together in new, exciting ways. There's much more to say in the coming months, but for now, I want to offer this additional background. In 2012, we began crafting a new universe full of character stories and gameplay. Our ambition is simple: draw upon 20+ years of development knowledge and lessons to create something fun and new for people to enjoy. There's nothing quite as exciting as building a new IP from scratch, and it will be even more thrilling for us to share with you this game in the future. So they basically stated that it's going to be coming out before March 2018, is what we can state from their comments.
Well, wait, they said they're bringing it out, right?
They at the end of this fiscal year will be delivering an all-new IP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm assuming it'll get a big blowout at E3. We'll get a reveal. Remember, this is the same game that Aaron Flynn, I believe it was Aaron Flynn, I could be wrong about that. He wore a t-shirt to a convention with the new IP's name on it, or the logo. I don't remember correctly. No one even noticed or even took a picture, so it doesn't exist. It's just a story because no one bothered to take a picture of him, I guess, during that convention. But yeah, this is interesting. It says it's going to mix up the action genre. The thing with me is it says bringing friends together to play in exhilarating ways, meaning this is probably going to be multiplayer centric, or at least going to have a big multiplayer component. I'm excited. This is the team that made Mass Effect 1 through 3. They've created, Dragon Age and Mass Effect. Like, BioWare's done great things, so I'm excited to see. Like, what do you guys think this is? Because they've tackled the future and they've tackled fantasy. Like, what do you think?
Well, and don't forget KOTOR. They also did KOTOR.
Yeah, that as well. Like, what do you guys think? Is this, like, current day? Is this the past? Like, what do you think? Is this, like, a dystopia? Is this, like, a made-up world, kind of like in the fashion of Overwatch, where it's, like cartoony, fantastical? Like, what do you guys think that this will be?
It's a kart racer.
Oh, God.
Kart racer.
They said action title. So what I'm thinking is going to be an action RPG. It's probably going to have RPG elements. It's BioWare. Duh. I'm interested.
I'm wondering
to see
if
this.
I guess they said they were creating a whole new universe, right?
Yeah, a whole new universe. This is nothing
so it's
tied
not
to Dragon
like
Age
just
or
like
Mass Effect. Yeah.
Present day or anything like that.
Well, it could be present day, but it isn't. It's a new it's a BioWare created universe, so it's like alternate reality, alternate history kind of stuff, at the very least. I would say this might be coming off the success of Overwatch, but they started this in 2012, so this is something they've been brewing for a while. So I'm excited for anything BioWare announces. So I'm really interested.
Yeah, I don't think they're really looking at Blizzard either. you know.
But I mean, a big chunk of this is they're stating bringing friends together to play in exhilarating new ways. Like, they mentioned playing with your friends multiple times in their statements, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is a multiplayer-centric game, you know? Because if you think about it, that's the one thing that they're kind of... Mass Effect has multiplayer components in it, but, like, Dragon Age is primarily single-player, so is Mass Effect for the most part. They haven't really... BioWare hasn't tackled the multiplayer aspect of it, so... It's going to be interesting to see what exactly they deliver, but we'll be waiting with bated breath to hear what they have to say about this new IP. No one knows anything about it, apparently.
I felt like Mass Effect 2 and 3 had full online multiplayer.
Yeah, but it wasn't co-op or anything. It was a game mode. It was like it was a horde mode.
Okay.
Yeah, but like when you talk about Mass Effect, you don't talk about the multiplayer. That's what I'm saying. Or like Dragon Age, they're single player games. Mass Effect is a single player game that has a multiplayer game mode. You know, they're not seen as multiplayer games first. And
Sure.
A lot of people didn't even really like the Mass Effect multiplayer because it really didn't invent anything new with the horde kind of game mode. So it's gonna be interesting. We can just sit here and guess for hours and hours, and we probably won't figure it out. So we'll see what they have to announce for us.